You are at the table when someone says the line. Not the loud one. Not the insult. The quiet one. 8 words, said flatly, that land somewhere under your ribs. Your ears go hot. Your hands go cold. And the sentence you had ready, the good one, the fair one, the one that would have explained everything, is gone. You know it was there a second ago. You can almost feel the shape of the space where it used to be. So you look down at your plate. You move a piece of food 2 inches to the left. You say nothing. And across the table, someone decides that you are being cold. Here's the strange part. 40 minutes later, in the car, or in the shower, or lying in the dark, the whole speech arrives. Complete. Calm. Every point in the right order. Devastatingly fair. Where was it when you needed it? You think you chose that silence. You didn't. There was no moment of choosing. Nothing inside you weighed the options and picked the option called say nothing. Try to remember the instant you decided. You can't find it. It isn't missing because your memory is bad. It is missing because the decision was made about 20 seconds earlier by a part of your body that does not ask your permission and does not send updates. Your heart rate crossed a number. Above that number, your body stops paying for certain services. Language is one of the first ones it drops. Here is what actually happens in those 20 seconds. Something in the room gets read as a threat. Not a lion. A tone. A pause. A face doing something it has never done at you before. Your body responds the way it responds to any threat, because it only has one response, and it is not fussy about the details. Adrenaline goes out. Your heart speeds up. Blood moves toward the big muscles and away from the fingers, which is why your hands went cold. Your vision narrows slightly. Your hearing sharpens for tone and dulls for content. So you stop tracking what the words mean and start tracking how they were said. And the slow, expensive, careful part of you that builds sentences and considers the other person's point of view gets moved to the back of the queue. You are not refusing to speak. You are running on a system that has just been told there is no time for speaking. Psychologists have a name for that. Emotional flooding. It means your body's arousal has climbed so high that the parts of you that make sentences no longer have the resources to run. The researchers who named it are John Gottman and Robert Levenson, who spent years in the 1980s and 90s doing something nobody had done properly before. They put ordinary couples in a room, asked them to discuss something they disagreed about, and wired them up while they did it. Heart rate, sweat response, blood flow. Not what people said about the argument afterwards. What their bodies did during it. Think of a phone at 4% battery. It doesn't die. It starts making choices. It dims the screen. It kills the background apps. It keeps the one function it thinks you need most. Nobody asks you which apps to close. That is you, at the table, with the words shutting down one by one. In their 1992 paper, Gottman and Levenson found that how a couple's bodies behaved during a 15-minute conversation predicted where that marriage would be for years later. The louder the physiology, the worse the outcome. Their earlier work, in 1983, found something even stranger. In the unhappiest couples, the two nervous systems moved together, almost in lockstep, one body climbing as the other climbed. They called it physiological linkage. Two people can be sitting perfectly still and be in a chase. Gottman put the flooding threshold at roughly 100 beats a minute for most people. Not a scientific cliff edge. A working number, above which people in his lab stopped being able to take in new information from the person sitting across from them. They could hear. They could not absorb. And the neuroscience lines up. Amy Arnson, at Yale, published a review in 2009 describing what stress chemistry does to the prefrontal cortex, the front slab of brain behind your forehead that handles reasoning, self-control, and holding a thought steady while you shape it into a sentence. Under a flood of stress chemicals, that region does not work harder. It goes offline, and control passes down to older, faster, blunter circuits. Arnson's phrase for it is that the prefrontal cortex is exquisitely sensitive. It is the most sophisticated equipment you own and the first thing to trip. Which means the moment you most need to be articulate is the exact moment your body has decided articulacy is a luxury. Now here is the part that should change what you do the next time this happens. Everyone in the room is misreading it, including you. The person across the table sees a face that has gone still and a mouth that has closed, and they run the only interpretation available to them. He doesn't care. She's punishing me. This is contempt. So they push. They ask again louder. They say the thing designed to get a reaction, because any reaction would be better than this. And every push adds arousal to a system that is already over budget. They are trying to get you to talk by doing the one thing that guarantees you can't. It is like shouting at someone to hurry up while standing on their foot. So the pattern locks. They escalate because you went quiet. You go quieter because they escalated. Neither of you is choosing this. The loop is running both of you. And your own reading is just as wrong in the other direction. You walk away from that table thinking you are bad at conflict. Weak. Passive. That other people fight properly and you fold. That is not what happened. What happened is that your body ran a protocol correctly at a moment when the protocol was useless. Because the shutdown is not a malfunction. It is a specification. A body that pours everything into speed and muscle and threat monitoring and strips resources from careful, deliberate speech is a body optimized for a situation where the danger is physical and immediate and the correct move is to act, not to explain. It works. It is beautifully engineered. It is simply being triggered by a sentence at a dinner table where nothing physical is going to happen, where the only useful tool in the entire room is the one it just switched off. You are not broken at arguing. You are equipped for a different emergency. So what do you actually do tonight at that table? Two things, and both of them are small. The first is that a flood has a clock. Gottman's recommendation, from decades of watching this in the lab, is at least 20 minutes. Not 20 minutes of replaying the argument in your head, because rehearsing it keeps the arousal high and the clock resets. 20 minutes of something genuinely else. Walk. Wash a dish. Stand outside. The second is that you need one sentence prepared in advance, because you will not be able to build one from scratch when it counts. Something like, I want to answer this properly, and I can't right now. Give me 20 minutes. That is it. Say it and go. 9 words spoken while the system is still up beat any number of perfect words that arrive at 2 in the morning, addressed to a ceiling. And there is evidence that naming it helps, physically. Matthew Lieberman and his colleagues at UCLA, in 2007, put people in a scanner and had them label what they were feeling in a single word. The labeling itself reduced activity in the amygdala, the alarm structure, and raised activity in the regulating region up front. Saying I'm flooded is not a confession of weakness. It is a small, measurable break. So, you are at the table when someone says the line. Your ears go hot. Your hands go cold. The good sentence disappears. Only now you know where it went, and roughly when it is coming back. The silence was never you refusing to speak. It was your body, 20 seconds ahead of you, quietly deciding what it could still afford.